Whoa, okay. Whoa! I can see, I can fly. Enough. But never enough. Easy day. Today's an easy day.
Leaked footage reveals a hyper-focused champion pushing through grueling, high-stakes sessions to ensure absolute physical and mental dominance. As the final grueling hours tick down, this isolated camp has officially shifted from a standard preparation into a pure war footing where any minor mistake could cost him the crown. With heavy iron plates clanking in the background, every lifting session has become a demonstration of the raw, explosive power needed to move a mountain.
This is exercise I don't like. But this is exercise make me strong.
This isn't just standard preparation anymore. It is a direct and terrifying warning to the giant kickboxer that he is stepping into the ring with a completely different breed of monster.
Last time was 40. Yeah. 50. And 15. 50. 5 or 0. Not 1 and 5. 5-0. Argumento.
To make his intentions perfectly clear, the champion left no room for doubt about the inevitable outcome of the fight. He stated, "I believe I win. That's my prediction. 7 minutes, 1 second. My focus is only 23rd of May. For Usyk, this intense routine is a deeply spiritual and completely consuming mission that leaves absolutely no room for distraction or self-doubt. He separates himself entirely from the noise of the outside world to focus solely on the daily grind while his coaches dissect the specific traps meant for his rival."
Prayer, food, and training. For me, it's not joking. When I have prepare, I not think about my opponents. Never. I study my opponents fight with my team. For me, it's like a boxing fight.
But the champion isn't the only one pushing human limits in this final countdown to chaos. On the other side of the world, Rico Verhoeven is matching that intense energy by starting his brutal mornings with freezing ice baths to prepare his giant frame for the war ahead.
Why I take ice baths in the morning, or at least a cold bath. I think the most important reason for me is it is such a big obstacle to start the day with. Then what is this day gonna do? That's not gonna make me feel like a champion, because one of the biggest hurdles, one of the biggest obstacles I already crossed, I already did. That's how I start the day. And of course, all the other benefits as an athlete come with that. It's one of the greatest ways to start the day. So that's why I do it.
The kickboxing king is pushing his massive frame through exhausting routines to completely reinvent his athletic capabilities for the boxing ring. He is fueled by a singular obsession to reveal the most dangerous and unstoppable version of himself the world has ever seen.
Oh, the drive and dedication just comes from being the best version of me and just keep challenging myself in whatever way possible on the highest level. And that's what we're gonna do, because I can become boxing world champion, because this belt, the WBC belt, has been held by Muhammad Ali, by Mike Tyson.
This isn't just about survival for the heavyweight challenger who is training to deliver a career-altering beating. He is sharpening his tools with a terrifying confidence that is meant to shock the boxing world and strip the champion of his legacy.
Even if we have rest, we stand. We don't need a rest. We'll keep going.
The giant kickboxer is completely unfazed by the champion's terrifying reputation and sees this massive challenge as the ultimate moment to shock the world. He views the undefeated king as just another human being who can bleed and is ready to show everyone exactly what happens when a legendary striker steps into his world.
I totally understand the dynamic that we're in. He's the unbeatable guy. Like, what an opportunity I have to show he's not that unbeatable. It's just a man with 2 arms and 2 legs. And I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna showcase who Rico Verhoeven is.
Rico is completely falling in love with the pure craft of this new battlefield as he strips away his old habits. He is rapidly mastering the deep strategies and hidden details of the sweet science to ensure he looks like a seasoned boxer rather than a misplaced martial artist.
It's a different sport, it's a different discipline. I'm learning to box more, and that's a lot of fun. I understand it so much better now that it is considered an art. It's what he does.
Legendary boxing trainer Teddy Atlas is completely writing off the kickboxing legend by pointing out his near-total lack of professional boxing experience. He believes the giant challenger has a better chance of witnessing a miracle than actually pulling off what would be the most shocking upset in combat sports history.
But we're not gonna see an upset. Verhoeven is a legendary kickboxer, but he's had one pro boxing fight, and he won
in 2014.
Against a handpicked guy. So he's 1-0, and he's not gonna be 2-0. We got a better chance of seeing King Tut make a comeback than we do of seeing Verhoeven pull off, which would be beyond the upset.
Even though the challenger is an absolute physical powerhouse who should never be taken lightly, Teddy Atlas insists he stands zero mathematical chance against a master technician. Furthermore, the veteran analyst emphasizes that the unified champion is far too honorable to ever participate in the kind of scripted or casual sparring sessions seen in recent crossover spectacles.
But it's an event, and if anyone deserves a little break, look, you don't take anyone for granted. He's a big, strong guy, Verhoeven. He's in good shape. He's physical. He's game. He's experienced in the kickboxing realm. You don't take anyone for granted, but he doesn't figure to have any chance against Usyk. And Usyk is a serious guy, so I can't imagine, like we were thinking about when Tyson was fighting with Jake Paul and other events like that. Yeah, and we were wondering, with some of those events, you wonder, is it scripted? Is there, is there some agreement there? People were wondering that, I think, for a while with Joshua and Paul, was an agreement to move around for a few rounds, then take the gloves off and go at it. And of course, Joshua, I think, stopped him in the 6th round, if I remember correctly, whatever it was. But a lot of people didn't think it was go that long. We got that one right. We had the over. I think it was 3 rounds. We had the over in that one. But Usyk's not the kind of guy that would entertain stuff like that, I don't believe.
Teddy Atlas believes the undefeated king has fully earned this massive payday after constantly fighting the absolute best names in the sport for years. He views this spectacular event as a total mismatch, where the ultimate outcome depends entirely on whether the champion wants to cruise through the rounds or end it violently.
I think that he does deserve an easy one. If this turns out to be easy, which I think it will, but he deserves an easy one. He's earned it. He's unified the heavyweight title twice. He unified all the cruiserweight belts. He won a gold medal going back in the Olympics. I mean, the guy does nothing but win, and he fights everybody. So he deserves, a little bit of an easy one, if it turns out to be that way. And I think that it's the kind of fight that it's just up to Usyk. What does he want to do? Does he want to get some rounds in? Does he want to box a little bit, get some rounds in? Take a peek at the pyramids as he's moving around a little bit. And does he want to do that, or does he want to push the metal to the pedal a little bit, the pedal to the metal?
The tactical breakdown by Teddy Atlas highlights how the kickboxer's rigid stance and traditional defense will essentially turn him into a stationary target for the pound-for-pound king. He predicts the champion will effortlessly dismantle his larger opponent by shifting angles to pierce the guard and unleash overwhelming combinations at will.
And look to go to the body, look to catch this guy with counter punches, look to set up his combinations that he's very capable of setting up on a guy who stands straight, tall guy who covers up, but he gives you a target. He's there. He covers pretty good, but when a guy covers like that, and you're fighting a guy like Usyk, it's like having a heavy bag in front of you. Usyk will put punches together. He'll take what you give him. He'll go to the body, he'll split the guard with the uppercut. There's so many things he could do.
Former cruiserweight champion Tony Bellew believes an upset here would completely shatter the sport because the challenger is jumping straight into deep water against an undefeated titan. He points out that the unified king is currently at the absolute peak of his terrifying powers after destroying towering giants and wrecking machines back to back.
If Rico Verhoeven is to defeat Oleksandr Usyk, it will be the greatest victory in boxing history. Yes, it's a second professional fight on paper, but this is a guy whose second professional fight is against the undisputed, unified former cruiserweight champion of the world, the current undisputed unified heavyweight champion of the world. He's undefeated. Nobody has been able to touch this guy. It's peak Oleksandr Usyk. He's just defeated a man who's 20 stone and 6'9" in Tyson Fury twice. He's just defeated a wrecking machine in Dubois who was on the run of his life. This isn't a guy who's washed up having a comeback fight against somebody. This is a guy in his peak and in his prime.
Tony Bellew goes as far as to say that a victory for the kickboxer would literally break the boxing scale entirely. He emphasizes that this stunning outcome would easily eclipse the historic moment when Buster Douglas shocked the world by knocking out Mike Tyson.
Put that into perspective. If Rico Verhoeven is to do this, it's off the Richter scale. This is bigger than Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson. That's how big this is. This would be the greatest shock in boxing history.
The British boxing analyst wonders if the champion could possibly underestimate the massive outsider or let his guard down for even a second. However, Tony Bellew quickly dismisses the idea by stating that the ultimate professional is far too disciplined and diligent to ever be caught sleeping.
But which way is he going to approach it? Will he approach it like Tyson Fury did? And will he take him lightly? I don't believe he will. Oleksandr Usyk is the perfect professional. He's a diligent professional. You will never catch this guy sleeping. You have to get out of bed really, really early to catch him out. And you would forgive him for thinking this guy's a kickboxer. I'm not going to have to be at 100% to beat this guy.
Veteran analyst Max Kellerman points out that the kickboxing king is entering this historic showdown. He compares this monumental challenge to the legendary silver screen story of a desperate underdog whose only real path to victory is simply surviving until the final bell ring, while a literal victory would completely shatter the history of combat sports. Just staying on his feet against a master technician would be a massive triumph for the outsider.
Verhoeven is a 15-1 underdog in this fight, and in its way, guys, this reminds me of that scene in Rocky 1 where Rocky comes home and tells Adrian he can't beat Apollo. You know, for Rocky, if he could just go the distance, that's like a win. So in the 14th round, Apollo knocks Rocky down, and Mickey tells Rocky to stay down. But Rocky, of course, gets up and finishes the fight, and even though the morons at the movie studio wanted to make Sylvester Stallone have Rocky win because they have to ruin everything, right? Sly stood his ground and made something great. Rocky loses the fight, but by going the distance, he really wins, right? So obviously, if Rico Verhoeven somehow actually beats Usyk, he will have pulled off an all-time upset.
Boxing insider Mike Coppinger believes the giant challenger can earn massive respect just by surviving past the halfway mark and landing something meaningful. He reminds fans that this elite martial artist is a lethal threat who originally targeted the biggest names in the sport before finally landing this dream clash. Now the outsider gets his ultimate wish to test his striking skills against the pound-for-pound king.
Max, I think Verhoeven, obviously, if he can hurt Usyk at any juncture in the fight, that's a win. If he can make it into the second half of the fight, past round 6, that's a win for me. And just being overall competitive and showing his boxing skills, I think people need to remember, Rico Verhoeven is no joke as a fighter. The UFC was about to sign him before Turkey swooped in and said, all right, we're going to do this fight first with you and Joshua, and then it became you and Usyk. So Verhoeven wants the smoke. He only wanted 3 names, Fury, Joshua, or Usyk. Now he gets the best fighter in the world.
Respected trainer Malik Scott warns that this is a real-life nightmare rather than a Hollywood movie scenario because the champion is one of the greatest fighters to ever live. He advises the kickboxer to bring a completely chaotic and relentless mentality to force the pound-for-pound king into a frantic pace. If the challenger allows the master technician any time to think and calculate his moves, it will lead to total destruction.
Well, y'all, I want to go back to the Rocky thing. Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, the character, his record was like in movie land, 56-22 with 54 knockouts or something like that in movie land. Usyk is not movie land. Like I keep saying, Rico is going against, to me, probably can be considered one of the best fighters of all time in every weight division. He can have some good moments. If I was him, I would go in with the Derek Chisora mentality, make Usyk rush his offense, don't allow him to think, because if Usyk is, if he allow you to think and give you time, that means he's going to destroy you. So it's going to be a long night.
The massive stakes of this spectacular crossover clash have polarized the entire combat sports community, dividing fans between those who expect a masterful boxing clinic and those who smell a historic disaster. Every grueling mile run, every heavy weight lifted, and every agonizing ice bath has led to this exact defining moment where legacy and pride are entirely on the line. When the first bell rings in Egypt, all the media noise and theoretical breakdowns will vanish, leaving only 2 elite champions trapped in a high-stakes battle for absolute dominance. What do you think will happen when these 2 titans collide under the ancient sky? And do you believe the kickboxing king has a genuine strategy to trap the elusive pound-for-pound master? Will the sheer size and raw explosive power of the giant challenger be enough to shock the world? Or will the flawless ring IQ of the unified king prove to be an impossible mountain to climb? How do you see the opening rounds playing out if the heavy outsider brings a completely chaotic and relentless pace right from the start? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.